Was it really worth it? Was it worth it to go through all the pain and suffering? Was there ever a light at the end of the tunnel? No, it couldn't be. It's you. What do you want from me? I beat your challenge. What? Over there? X3? X4? X5? Surely you don't mean... No. Surely I don't have to beat those two? No! How did we get here? Why is this man screaming? Well, to answer that, we'll have to go back to the 25th of July, 2020. On this day, he uploaded a video to youtube.com titled, "Can you beat Mega Man X without dashing?" And without knowing it, this is how he sealed his fate. He would now have to beat the other games without dashing. However, he soon realised that doing so would be one of the biggest challenges he'd ever faced in his entire life. Mind you, his life is pretty uneventful. So, how'd he do? Let's see. Hello, fellow people of the internet that have nothing better to do, and welcome to another dumb thing no one cares about. Remember that thing I did a little while ago? Yeah, I'm doing it again, but this time with X2. Oh boy, I cannot wait. Quick overview of what counts as a dash. You cannot press the A button or whatever button you use to dash to, dash. Should be pretty self-explanatory. A couple things to note before starting. Unlike X1, you have to dash as a default part of X's moveset, so the stages were made with it in mind. There are also the X Hunters, but we'll discuss them later. With that out of the way, let's start. The intro stage goes by without any problems, so there's not much point in discussing it. Now, as with any Mega Man X game, you have 8 Mavericks you can fight in any order. Unlike X1, however, the Maverick you fight first does matter. Kinda. There are a few that we can't beat with our current moveset. Normally when playing X2, I personally like to start with Wire Sponge, as he's pretty much the only one I can consistently beat Buster Only. But there's a problem. Rain. You see, Wire Sponge's stage has a weather changing gimmick, caused by these orbs you find throughout the stage. One of these weather effects is rain, which drastically slows down your jump. I'm sure I don't need to explain how that could be a problem. However, you can hit the orbs with certain special weapons to change the weather. Strike Chain changes the weather to serene, which would stop the rain, but Strike Chain is Wire Sponge's weapon, so that won't help. Pebble Splash, that's Pebble Crab's weapon, also changes the weather to rain, which is the opposite of what we want. That means our only options are to bring either Crystal Hunter or Speed Burner, which you can get from beating Crystal Snail and Flamestack respectively. So which one do you go to? Neither. Not yet at least. Yep, this has all been one big tangent. Instead, forget all that garbage, don't actually, and go to Wheel Gator's stage. So one thing you'll notice while playing the stage, the Buster upgrade is up there. We cannot get it. Maybe we ought to return here later when we're better equipped. Aside from the health upgrade, there are no other roadblocks in this stage, and although Wheel Gator is a lot harder to beat dashless, it is doable. What even is that at the bottom? I assume it's fuel for the dinosaur tank? Whatever. So why did we just beat Wheel Gator? Well, it's because we need his weapon, Spin Wheel, to get the armor upgrade in Morph Moth stage. Right here. And why do we need the armor upgrade? Let me show you. The armor upgrade in X2 gives you a new special weapon for your arsenal, Giga Crush. Unlike the other special weapons, this one fills up when you take damage from enemies. When the energy gauge is full, you can unleash a powerful screen nuke, which has the side effect of giving X a slight boost to his jump. It's nothing groundbreaking by any means, it'll get us past a few upcoming roadblocks. You can go beat Moth now if you want, but you don't have his weakness. So if you don't have any gaming skill to spare, like me, you can just game over out of there. You can't exit the stage if you haven't beaten it. Bubble Crab's up next. I was a little worried we'd hit a roadblock here, but no. Thanks, water physics. Speed up the crab using spin wheel. Done. Now then, whether you went to beat Moth or Bubble Crab, the X-Hunters will show up after beating 2 Mavericks. Now for the remaining Mavericks, you can encounter Suggest, Violin, or Agile. Each of them carry one of Zero's 3 body parts. Cause he died in X1, remember? Sure must suck to be Zero right now. Now it's not actually required to fight the X-Hunters, but if you don't, you'll have to deal with quite the annoying boss battle during the endgame. If you successfully retrieve all of Zero's body parts however, you can skip it. Although, if you wait too long to beat them, they'll retreat from the world map one by one. Suggest leaves after beating 5 Mavericks, must have a short attention span. Violin after 6, and Agile ironically takes the longest to leave, and only does so after beating, wait for it, 7 Mavericks. So, if you want to skip the annoying Zero fight, you better not take too long. Here's the thing though, some of the boss rooms where you fight the hunters are either inaccessible without dashing, or require a certain technique or special weapon to access. Only a few of them, mind you, and I'm pretty sure the only outright impossible one is the one in Crystal Snail stage, but I could be wrong about that. To get the hunters in the stage you want, just enter and exit an already completed stage. This will change their location when you get back to the stage select screen. Doing it this way means there's little to no risk of the hunters running away, though I believe if you beat a stage with the next hunter there, and you don't beat the hunter, then that hunter will retreat. Suggest is weak to Sonic Slicer, Violin's weak to Bubble Splash, and Agile's weak to Magnet Mine. It's up to you how you take on the X-Hunters, just keep what I've told you in mind. Now with that taken care of, you can move on. It's best to take on Flamestack now rather than earlier in the run, as there's no way I'm beating him without Bubble Splash. There's a free sub-tank early in the stage, be sure to grab it. Get the health upgrade if you can, but if you can't get it, you can always return it later. Something important to note is that the lava won't insta-kill you. It's a good thing too, because you have to damage boost off of it just to get through those sinking pillars. There's also this section with these flying squirrel-like enemies that's just really annoying. Flamestack gets stunned by Bubble Splash, meaning you can easily lock him into a predictable pattern. Go beat Moth now if you haven't already, and then it's time for Magnus Centipede. So, I don't like Magnus Centipede. Why? Here's a list of reasons, but the one I want to focus on is this big gap. You can use Giga Crush to just barely clear it though. This section with the scanners that chase you isn't hard to get through by any means, but each scanner you get caught by powers up the upcoming mini-boss. You can't dash to avoid them, so it's basically just luck. The final section leading up to the boss is a bit tense, and Magnus Centipede himself is just as annoying as he is in a casual playthrough. If you beat him though, then congrats! You're 5/8 of the way through the Mavericks. Go claim your prize! Yeah, your prize is Crystal Snail. It's Crystal Snail. That's your reward for beating Magnus Centipede. Crystal Snail. This stage is thankfully quite straightforward. You can grab the helmet upgrade if you want, and there's no reason not to. It's not important for the run or anything. In fact, it's pretty useless in this game. After a close shave with some sliding crystals, it's time to fight the boss. Dodging his snail shell dash attack thing is made a bit trickier without dashing. He's not too bad otherwise, if you know what you're doing. Here's a tip for dealing with this boss actually. If you hit him with the magnet mine, he'll launch out of his shell and hit the wall. He has invulnerability frames, but if you put another mine on the wall he's about to hit, and deal a second hit on him. Handy if you're bad at fighting the Mavericks like I am. With Crystal Snail defeated, we'll get his special weapon, and this one will be quite useful. Crystal Hunter. Crystal Hunter allows you to freeze enemies and turn them into a platform you can step on. It's not as versatile as I'd like, but it will certainly be of use to our run. Next up is Overdrive Ostrich. There's not much to say here, other than, wow, this bike section sure does suck. How can I even get through it? I can't see where I'm going without crashing into a wall. The only way I can even get through this section is if I spam the bike's buster attack and memorise when I need to jump. Even Jet Stingray did it better. Because, yeah, that happens. You can also grab the leg upgrade here, but there's literally no point in doing so. It's just upgrade to dash. The weapon won't be any different without it. Just like shoes in real life, sadly. Wish I could gain a mid-air dash just from wearing sandals. Anyway, we witnessed quite possibly the coolest introduction to a boss fight in the history of gaming, and fight Overdrive Ostrich, who's pretty much the same as usual. Nothing to discuss here, so here's another handy tip. You can hit Ostrich with a Crystal Hunter, and he's at the peak of his jump and you're up a slope. This will cancel his slicer attack, and he'll fall back to the ground, repeating the process. It only works if you're high enough to reach him though. Well, there's only one Maverick left. I'm sure you know who it is. That's right, it's Wire Sponge time. We're much better equipped to take on the stage, so all that's left is to actually do it. Now, there's a sub-tank in the stage, and it's very important that you grab it. Why? Because this and the sub-tank in the Flamestack stage are the only two sub-tanks you can access, so grabbing them both will make the run much easier. The sub-tank we're looking for is up here, and grabbing it is easier said than done. First, change the weather of this orb, so it'll stop raining. This will make getting the sub-tank easier. The rain will turn itself back on after enough time has passed, so you'll have to be quick. Get on top of this platform, and at the peak of its height, use Giga Crush. It should give you just enough height to wall jump up there. It's fine if it starts raining again at this point. From there, just wall jump again to get up to the sub-tank. The rest of the stage contains some very precise jumps over spikes. You'll probably have to refill your Giga Crush to get through here. You can damage boost off the enemy's projectiles if you need to. If the gods have mercy and let you through, you'll get to fight Wire Sponge, who is completely trivial compared to what we just went through. Use the Sonic Slicer to speed up the process.
Alright, we call it a draw. Oh, I see. Running away, eh? You yellow bastard! Come back here and take what's coming to you! I'll bite your legs off!
Now the reward is another useful special weapon, Strike Chain. Strike Chain is a hook-pot-like weapon, which will grab onto walls and launch you towards them. The biggest downside to this weapon is that its range is extremely short, so there are some situations where it won't really help that much. It's nice to have regardless though. With the 8 Mavericks down, we can finally move on to the the X-Hunter stages. Yeah, right. But before that, there's the small matter of the X-Buster upgrade. I tried everything. Using Giga Crush to get up there didn't work. Using Strike Chain to grab onto the wall didn't work. Using Crystal Hunter to freeze the nearby enemies didn't work. Using all 3 at once? Not a chance. So, as much as it sucks, it looks like the Buster upgrade is once again just out of reach. And let me tell you, that really sucks. There's a full-on desk replacement look behind it and everything. And unlike X1, there's no freebie upgrade during the endgame. So, I guess we'll just have to go without it and hope we don't come across too many roadblocks. Oh, and make sure to grab whatever upgrades you can before heading to the fortress. With that out of the way, it's time. Let's go and avenge Zero, or something. Yeah, that works. Listen, I hate to interrupt the montage like this, but this large gap had me really worried. Thankfully, we can freeze the bats with Crystal Hunter to get across. Crystal Hunter gets a lot of usage in this stage actually. Oh, and I guess I should go over the bosses. Violan is the same as usual, except now there are Yoku blocks. Apparently this was done because there wasn't enough memory in the SNES cartridge to make a second form for him. Interesting. Now, Jess? Oh boy, Jess. I was stuck on this fight for quite a while. Mainly because we don't have the charged version of Sonic Lighter, which makes the fight way easier. First, before entering the boss room, make sure your Giga Crush energy is full, and preferably your sub-tanks as well. You can use Giga Crush to destroy all 4 physical opponents instantly. If you run out of energy, use Silk Shot or Spin Wheel on the turrets instead. Then you have to get on the platforms and hit him with the regular, uncharged Sonic Lighter, and pray that he doesn't kill you first. Agile is probably easier in his second form. When you fight him earlier, he's got this really big saber, and he dashes at you seemingly at random. But here, you can just hug the wall and use Magnet Mine on him. I tried getting the Shoryuken in this stage to use against him, but that's not happening. So, I'd make sure to refill your sub-tanks before each stage. Stage 4 is, guess what? A rematch stage. You gotta beat all the Mavericks again before you're able to proceed. Not much to say here, just remember that these health pickups respawn after each Maverick you beat. After that's over, guess who it is? That's right, it's our old pal Sigma. How have you been, buddy? For the next stage we're back in Magnus Centipede stage for some reason. Yeah, this really confused me when I first played the game. I thought there'd been some kind of glitch, but no. You have to cross that large gap again, so make sure your Giga Crush is full up. And then... Zero? It would appear we have to fight him, due to plot reasons. Not really, because the real Zero will show up and blow him up. Assuming you grabbed all the Zero parts earlier, that is. If you didn't, then I can't really help you there. Sorry about that. Now it's finally time for the battle against Sigma. His first form, just spam Sonic Laser at him. Even if they miss, since the weapon bounces off the walls, they will no doubt get in Sigma's path. When he flashes yellow, get ready to wall jump, dodge his electric attack. If you beat him, then it's time to take on the Sigma virus. Yeah, apparently he managed to turn himself into a virus somehow. I don't know, I'm not good with Mega Man X lore. He doesn't have a health bar, and you can only damage him with charge shots or strike chain. You'll know you're dealing damage when he starts changing colour. Once you deal the final blow, then congratulations! You've just beaten Mega Man X2 without dashing. I would give you a gold star, but we just ran out of them, so please accept this mug instead. Well then, that was certainly something. X2 Dashless may have been one of the hardest Mega Man things I've ever experienced, but at the same time, I kind of enjoyed it. It made me think of the game in a completely different way. Funny how such a simple challenge can do that. Would I recommend this challenge to others? Yeah, actually. It's a frustrating mess, but it's an enjoyable frustrating mess. Maybe you can figure out what I couldn't and get that Buster upgrade. Or you could take on the ultimate challenge and fight Zero Dashless. Or, I don't know, come up with some fancy nightmare trick and get the Shoryuken. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is this. Green Biker Dude shouldn't have died. Rest in peace. And as for me, well, I'm sure I'm obligated to do X3 after this. So, yeah. Thank you, and good night.